What's going on, guys? This is Martin with Bodybuilding.News. Today we're doing a little experiment, trying to do an interview. Going to add this to possibly one of our new segments on here. I'm with IFBB professional bodybuilder Martae Ruelas.
What's up, guys out there in cyberspace or wherever you are, on your cell phones, computers, whatever?
Martae, tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? Where were you born? Where are you located now? Yeah, let's just start off with the basics right there.
Okay, I'm 34. I'm Phoenix, Arizona. I'm one of these many thousands of pros out here that are aspiring to try to do something with themselves, I guess, you know.
And so, what gyms, I guess, do you train out of up in Phoenix?
You know what? I'm dispersed everywhere. I'm mainly at Metroflex.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 5 miles down from my house, so I go there mainly. But I visit everywhere, all across Phoenix. I don't discriminate.
And how long have you lived in the Phoenix area?
How long have I lived here? I've lived here all my life. I travel frequently, but this is my home. Born and raised here.
How long have you been training?
How long have I been training?
Seriously training.
Oh, okay. It's not counting like high school shit.
Not counting, you know, like when you actually were starting to make real gains and not on accident.
We're talking like fucking like 7 years ago. I was training. That's when I really took it serious. Shit. Matter of fact, I would say maybe like 4 years ago, if you really want to call. I was bullshitting my first time I started getting ready. I wasn't even really training that serious. Matter of fact, I didn't even start doing cardio before a show up until like freaking three years ago. That time when I did like nationals and the USAs and all that shit 3 years ago, that was the first time I ever did cardio before a show. Never did cardio before then.
When was your first time competing though? When was your first contest?
My first time competing in one of these contests was a Miles Niesel show back in the day. It was the MC was Lonnie Teeper, and that's actually where I got my name from. Who gave me my name was Lonnie Teeper too.
How did you get into bodybuilding? What made you like interested in bodybuilding, and how did you get into your first competition? Like, what made you decide to do that process?
What made me decide to do that bodybuilding show or do bodybuilding period, I didn't want anything to do with bodybuilding, actually, believe it or not, when I first started doing stuff. I was in wrestling and track, and all I did was run like 5 miles a day, 10 miles sometimes, because I was used to cross country. And I was in the gym, and this big chick, and she'd harass me every time I'm in the gym saying, hey, I think you should do this bodybuilding thing. And every time I got in the gym, she was like, I'm not going to stop fucking with you until you get on stage. You got good abs, you got a good physique or something. I was like, man, what are you talking about? So I went to the gym, and it's almost like she had the GPS. Every time I was there, she was there.
I've been watching you. I've been watching you.
My training partner was like, I think you should do that. And really, that's another reason why I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to wear a thong. And and then I thought for a minute, and I was like, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger played Conan, and he did that shit. And I was rationalizing. Did my first show, won my first show I ever did as a bantamweight, took second overall. Mm-hmm. And after that, the rest is history. I never saw that chick again, too.
In 2013, what contests did you do, and what did you place at those contests?
Okay, 2013, I did the NPC West Coast Classic. I won my weight class, took second overall. After that, I took third at USA's. Mm-hmm. And after that, I won my pro card at Nats, taking second to Damian Ricketts at Nationals.
At the time, what were your feelings about like earning a pro card? How did that feel?
So in all actuality, it didn't really hit me at all. It never really hits you, because I don't know. For me, I guess it's a little different, because during my whole run in the NPC, I always wanted to be like a winner, and you always want to be competitive. How I turned pro kind of left like a salty taste in my mouth, to where it was like, you either win a pro card or not. If somebody was to ask me, how did you turn pro? What show did you win? Yeah, I can't ever answer that question like that. I have to go around the belt and say, I won my pro card at this show, try to divert. Yeah. Because it's hard for me to take that pill. So in order for me to actually feel like I'm redeeming myself, and this is all, in all honesty, I would have to go back and take Damian Ricketts out. That's how I feel right now. I understand where all the legends in our sport and all those people that have been there came before and did this shit, like, you know, they just give them out and this and that. I never wanted to be one of those guys they talked about. Like, I never wanted to do it. Like,
we're just we're nitpicking here, obviously, but we're also being as critical as possible because, you know, people are going to be hypercritical of things. So it's good to look at things objectively. How did you decide on your next contest, and what was that process like? How did that end up going for you?
Okay, the process of me starting my first contest, I wanted to take a shit ton of time off because unless I'm you know, the other giant killer from the East Coast or whatever, I'm not really gonna make that much of a splash because that guy's got brown bellies and he's just got that look, you know. He's rare. Yeah. You know, so like your guy Davion, he could do some killer shit too.
Yeah, he's pretty
good.
So
there's only a select few people who can really kill people at like a huge weight. So I decided to take some time off and put some real size on and be realistic about my goals but I never really had a good real off season. I think you and me really talked about that. Yeah. But at least I knew for a fact, at least I knew I needed to take time off, and I'm actually going to go here and say this. I never really knew a lot about gear. I still really don't. I need to get my ducks in order as far as like my education regarding that, because I mean, I really didn't depend on it, even really turning pro like that. So now it's like I'm going into these waters and learning all this shit.
Going into the future, what are your plans going into the future? What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals?
My long-term goal is to be alive.
Yeah, perfect.
It's crazy right now. Yeah. I want to be alive, and I want to at least be healthy and have that kind of wealth, because I'm not trying to have a colostomy bag and everything like that. Exactly. I just had a wake-up call at the Europa when they told me my blood sugar was like 300.
What was going on with your intestines at the time? What issues were you having? What was the cause of that issue?
Well, a lot of the causes that I had, there was a major thing that I was suffering from. It was high blood pressure, and the thing is you really don't know about this shit because you don't, like, sometimes you'll get hand swelling and shit like that. It happens when you're engorged with a lot of fluid. Sometimes your blood pressure is raised. This is one of those things that's silent. You don't know that you have a high blood pressure, and there are things that happen as a result of that. And I think the fact that I had colitis, it further aggravated that issue and everything else. Colitis, you bleed, you have ulcers. So think about how much blood you're bleeding already, and then you have high blood pressure. It exacerbates the issue, I think, you know.
And so what have you been doing to address that issue, and have you noticed any, like, what changes have happened?
I have, believe it or not, I have it right here. I got this blood pressure cuff and all this right here. So in the morning, what I do is in the mornings I checked it, and I still check it. My sodium has decreased from my diet, so perfect. And even though it's off season and I really hate cardio, I do that every morning, and there are things that I do that I didn't do before, so I'm taking extra precautions. Those are things I'm doing.
What's your general goal for competing? When do you want to compete? What time of year? How about that? Maybe not a specific show.
Around July, I'm looking at competing around that time. So right now, everything's already started as far as my prep.
But is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to? Anyone you'd like to thank? Anyone that's been helpful so far with your prep, especially recently? Anything like that?
Lana's Egg Whites. She's cool as hell. She helps me out a whole lot. My girl Shauna, she's been really supportive and everything, been in my corner. And
Shauna is an IFBB pro bodybuilder, correct?
Yes, she's a pro bodybuilder, yep.
Cool.
She turned pro the same year I did in 2013. So.
Oh, cool.
And Bodybuilding.News.
Cool, thank you very much, sir. If you like this interview and you want to see more content like it, be sure to go to our YouTube page and subscribe and give this a like as well. I'm Waylon Martin with Bodybuilding.News. Out.